Yo guys, what's up? So, last time we started talking about stories and stuff. So like after me and Brian put on our headphones, we were listening to, it was like Kid Cudi. It was all like, I'm on the pursuit of happiness and I know. And then we listened to that song, and then it was so loud that like it almost burst our eardrums. But since our IQ was over 9,000, it didn't phase us. So then we flew into the air. Ow. Then we like flew into the air, and we started dancing, and I'm like, Brian, come on, man, we can't do this. And then Brian's like, you're right. I'm the one with the brains here. Why didn't I think of that? And then we started teaming on with the fight, and then we're like, sit. Sitten's like, what? And then we're like, what do you mean, what? It's time for us to defeat you. He's like, defeat me? You're just children. And I'm all like, children? You mock us because we're children? And then he's like, yes, I do. And then I punch him in the face. He's like, ow, that hurt. I'm like, see, children matter too, douchebag. And he's like, do not call me a douchebag. And then he's like, and then I'm like, your mom's a scumbag. And it's like, that's not cool. And then me and Brian started like punching him, and then Satan started punching us at the speed of light, like faster than the speed of light, and like even the fastest camera couldn't like capture it. And then since he was punching us at the speed of light, and then we were like, ugh, and we fell to the ground, and I'm like, ugh. And he's like, and we were like, we got back up. And then we got back up, and then I'm like, come on, Satan, let's make a deal. And then he's like, what's the deal? He's like, if we win and get you to fall on your face, then you will leave Earth and leave our people alone. He's like, and what will you do if I let you fall on your face? And we're like, we will leave Earth forever. And everyone at the party's like, no, you can't leave us. And like, don't worry, we will triumph. And then we like started fighting, and then we were trading blow for blow, and like our powers were like matched, and then we stopped, and then I'm like, Brian, our powers are matched, what can we do? And then Brian's like, aha. And then we noticed that like every time he punched Satan, he would stumble a little bit, and I'm like, aha, he has bad balance. And then Brian transformed the battle place into a place with a bunch of spinning logs, and then there was water, and Satan hates water. He's like, ew, water. And since Satan's a dick and he doesn't like water, since Satan's like a dick and he doesn't like water, then we're like, whoa. And then I like spit at him. He's like, ew, that's disgusting. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. And he's like, yeah. And then his eyes started coming out of his skull. They started coming out of his skull, and then like they started coming out of his skull. He like lunged toward us. He's like, ugh, water. And then when he lunged toward us, we stepped out of the side, and then he fell into the water, and then he disintegrated. But then he disintegrated into the water. He's like, you think you've got me now? He said from inside the water. We're like, oh, he couldn't have survived. What is this? And then he's like, you may think my weight is water, but little did you know that water actually powers me up and makes me into steam. And then he turned into steam. And then once he turned into steam, he was like this like giant wind fog thing. And since he was this giant wind fog thing, we couldn't see him. He's like, and we're like, oh, I think we screwed up, Brian. And he's like, yes, we did screw up. And then he's like hitting us from every which way, and like since he was hitting us from every which way, we couldn't do anything. Since like we couldn't do anything, we were like, and then we fell to the ground. He's like, ha, you said that if I got you to fall and defeat you, that you would leave this planet. And he's like, yeah, yes, you're right. I'm a man of my word. And then it's like, and Brian's like, but little did you forget that we're not on Earth. He's like, oh, and then we're like, ha ha ha. And then we started like punching him at the speed of light. Like not even the fastest camera could even capture us because we were punching so fast. And then he's like, ugh, he fell to the ground. And then me and Brian power up a final laser, and we're like, Fus Roda, and then like since we had like all like Fus Roda on him, he died, and we're like woo, and we're like we won, and then suddenly we heard an evil laugh, and it was, and his name was Ganon, and then Ganon's like that was just the beginning. He was only my servant. I'm like, Ganondork. He's like, my name's not Ganondork. I'm like, do not lie to me. He's like, my name's not Ganondork. And then Ganondork's like, if you think you're up for the challenge, then you should come to my castle and face me. And then me and Brian looked at each other, and then we nodded. We're like, let's go. And then like chapter 2, Ganon's castle. So inside of Ganon's castle, like everything was like all screwed up and everything, and like since everything was so screwed up, everything was so screwed up that the stairs were out of place, and like the stairs were like dumb, and like the stairs what they were is like they were like the stairs were like stairs were like distorted in a way because like they were like all spirally and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Brian's like, I hate spiral stairs. And then me and Brian demorphed so that he could fly up and I could just take the spiral stairs since he's a baby. So then I started spinning around in circles and we started wobbling, and well, Brian did, and he's like, ugh, I think I'm drunk. And I'm like, when did you drink alcohol? He's like, I didn't. That's the point. I'm like, oh, Brian. He's like, what? I didn't drink. So I'm like, I point at him and it's like, I got my eye on you. It's like, I got my eye on your mom. I'm like, oh, pervert. He's like, I'm like, shut up. He's like, okay, geez. And then oops, I failed. So and then like we climbed all the way Ganon's tower, and then everything was unfair because like Ganon had like a bunch of allies and it was not cool. So and I'm like Ganon, this isn't fair. And then me and Brian morphed. He's like, all is fair in war. And then I'm like, that's not a real saying. He's like, of course it is. And I'm like, he's like, that's so not cool. And then he's like, it is so cool. And then he came flying at us. And then like, I have the power of light. And then like, I shined my shield on him. And that sounds gay, but I shined my shield on him, and then he like. Then what happened after that was like after I shined my shield on him, he's like, ugh, lights, and then he shut off, and then he took my shield and he like shut off all the lights in the room. He's like, oh, but you can't see me now. And then I'm like, I can see you, dickhead. And then I like punched him in the face. He's like, ow, my beautiful face. He's like, it took me 10 years to get that fixed. I'm like, you must have a really ugly face, bro. He's like, do not judge me. I'm like, I can judge you all day. And he's like, that's not nice. I'm like, I haven't got to be nice to anything. He's like, why don't you? I'm like, cause who cares about being nice? I have muffins. He's like, muffins, no! And I started throwing a bunch of muffins at him, and he's like, ugh! And since he was like suffocating because of the muffins, I was like, muffins, I love you. And he was suffocating so bad that like he couldn't breathe, although that's what suffocating is. And since like he was suffocating so bad that he couldn't breathe, and like he was like, ugh, muffins. I'm like, that's what you get for not being a muffin worshiper. He's like, ugh, I should have worshipped muffins. And then he falls down, and then he dies. I'm like, haha. And suddenly his tower started, like, collapsing. I'm like, what is this? Brian, and me and Brian look at each other with our telepathic minds. We're like, oh no! And then like, the tower crashed upon us. And we were like, ugh. And we died. But then, like, everyone at the party was like, Snivy, Brian. and then they're like, and then, and then like they're like, we can't let this happen to you. And then they like poured a bunch of like soda into our mouths, although we were dead. And then we came back to life, and then I woke up, and then me and Brian were demorphed since we died, and then came back to life, and then we started doing the Thriller like we were zombies. And we're like, it's the Thriller life. And we're like, Brian, we survived. He's like, we did survive. I'm like, how is this possible? And then like everyone at the party's like, we revived you by giving you soda. And we're like, soda. And then me, I'm like, did it include muffins? And they're like, yes. We're like, yay, soda muffins. And then he's like, and then I'm like, I'm gonna try more of those. I'm like, I gotta try more of those soda muffins, bro. And then the soda muffins. And then I tried some more soda muffins. They were like God. They were like God times 2. They were like so good and so cool. I'm like, and then Muffin started talking to me. I'm like, hey Muffin. Muffin's like, hi Snavy. And then I'm like, hey Muffin, how are you today? Muffin's like, good. How are you? And he's like, and I'm like, good. And then I ate the muffin. It was so cool. And then Brian's like, that was so cool. He's like, we defeated Ganondorf in a near impossible feat. I'm like, yeah, that was so cool. And then I started dancing, and I started dancing, and then we reconstructed the house, and then like when we reconstructed the house looks so baller, and the house looks it looks so baller. It had like a bunch of chandeliers hanging, and it had like a bunch of muffin decorations. It looked so boss. And then like after we were done decorating, we had an epic, super epic party. Like the party, like what we did is we had like a bunch of muffins, and then like with the muffins, what we would do is we would just like have like we'd have like pillow fights, and we like have muffins inside the pillows instead of like cotton, and then like the muffins would they're invincible. Since like the muffins were like invincible, like nothing could break them, cause like they're like invincible. So like we just having muffin pillow fights. And it was so cool. And then I slapped this one Britney whore across her face, and since I slapped her across her face, like she got a bruise on her face. Since I hit her face so hard, it was so funny. But then she got upset, and then she called the cops. And then I got arrested. So then I escaped. But then when they found out that I saved the universe, then they unarrested me, and then I dressed up as a girl. No, Brian dressed up as a girl, and I was watching him, and he was hanging out with his girls at the party. He's like, oh my god, those nails are like so last year. Like, but these nails are so cool. And Brian's like, let me get these nails. And they're like fake gay nails, and they're like, oh, it's so hot. And then the party was over, and since the party was over, everyone was so sad since it was such an epic party. But the party had to end, and then everyone went home, and me and Brian were like, all night we were like making so many funny jokes, and one joke I made was your mom, and then he's like, haha, that's so funny, your mom. I'm like, no, I know, right, your mom. And then we started cracking up laughing for no reason, although it wasn't even that funny. And then I'm like, good night, Brian. And he's like, good night. And then the next day we woke up, like this girl was stalking me, and she was like all up in my face. I was like, get out of my chiz, dog. So like, it's like, I've been stalking you since you were 5. I'm like, I'll be back next episode, guys. Peace.